Hi, welcome to the Time Capsule Show, where we explore the meaning of life in the 21st century through the eyes of people just like you and me. I'm Joenrhuz.
And I'm Joerenz.
And today we have award-winning actor, filmmaker, and owner of Kill the Pig Productions, Tyler Pong. Tyler, welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, so can you just tell us more about yourself, your experiences, your background, and whatever you want to share with us?
Yeah, well, I'm actually originally from Canada, and I moved to the States in my pursuit of acting. So I studied in New York at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute. Afterwards, well, during my time at Strasberg, I wrote a play and produced it at the Lee Strasberg Institute, and then I later brought it to the Manhattan Repertory Theater in Times Square, where we put it on there. And I wrote another play in New York called 2 Days Till Dawn as well, before moving to Los Angeles, where I really got my production company off the ground. I just shot a short film, Dreamer in Exile, in New York, and I released it when I had moved to Los Angeles. And as well, with my production company, I've also made two other short films, Leap and Club Rats. But other than that, I do actor services like headshots, audition taping, reel scenes for other actors who are either experienced or just beginning, and they need material to go out and get noticed as an actor. So that's something that I feel with like my, 10 to 15 years experience as an actor, that I can help provide other actors.
Oh wow, so you have like a pretty diverse experience in the whole entertainment industry. You're behind the scenes, you're in front of the camera. Which is like your favorite aspect of the whole industry?
Oh my goodness. I mean, acting for sure. That's what I got into the industry to do. Acting, I think there's like such a rush of performing, especially when you're in the moment and everything's going right and you're not in your head and your reactions are spontaneous. That's for me the most exhilarating feeling as an actor, is having control but still having that spontaneity. And it's a crazy balance that's hard to describe. It's hard to get there. It takes practice. It's not something that people can just turn on or off. And if you can, I mean, that's great. But it takes a lot of training to get to that point. So acting is definitely where my heart is.
What inspired you to, get into acting and eventually, do other things in the entertainment industry?
Oh, that's a good question. I was just a fan of TV and film growing up. I would watch, everything that I watched really inspired me as a kid. And maybe when I was older, I appreciated filmmaking and the storytellers behind the lens a lot more. Like the 90s were a great time for film, and I think it was also a great time for the auteur. So directors like Quentin Tarantino and Tim Burton and Kevin Smith and David Lynch, they're all directors who tell their own stories. They don't just find a script or get hired to do a script. And well, now maybe it's a little more different 20 years later, but back then they were very passionate about telling their own stories and being involved in every single aspect of storytelling. So I feel like that's something that has inspired me as well. And that is definitely what inspired me to get into filmmaking and writing, was to tell my own story and to also create opportunities for myself as a mixed race actor starting out in the industry. People don't know where to place you. It's either, when I was starting out, I would either go into a room full of white people or go into a room full of full Asian actors who I was auditioning for the same role for. So, I would be the wild card for the room where I was amongst a bunch of Caucasian actors. And I was also the wild card for the room full of a bunch of Asian actors. So I really, when I first started acting, there was a lot of that identity crisis in where do I fall under this, and a lot of industry people, I think, kind of weren't too sure. Like, ethnically ambiguous was growing back then as like a popular type to cast, but I feel like now people are becoming more aware of cultural sensitivity and culture and casting accurately and authentically, instead of just getting an ethnically ambiguous person who may be half Persian to play half Hispanic or something. It's like that's not as authentic as actually finding somebody with the same background. And I feel that that's something that I'm a huge advocate for, is diversity in film and TV.
Is that the story that you want to tell through your acting and through your filmmaking?
It's it could be part of the story, but I mean, like, a lot of people also don't like to hear industry stories too much. Like, you know, I mean, filmmakers making movies about filmmakers is a little redundant. But I definitely feel that that identity has a big part to do with storytelling.
Yeah, and I just to touch back on the interracial actors thing that you've been talking about, like especially in some like shows and films today, you can see a lot more interracial actors. Like I think that guy on 13 Reasons Why, there's that guy who's I think half Asian, and then
Ross
there's
Butler.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's that other guy on Riverdale. Oh my God, the names are escaping me right now, but I can't remember them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is becoming more there's more representation in film and TV. I think we still have a long way to go, but it's definitely making itself known.
Absolutely. So let's say that you didn't become an actor. What path would you be pursuing, and why would you be doing it?
I mean, I already wear multiple hats. So if I say that I would pursue writing instead, I'm kind of already doing that. But okay, let's say aside from entertainment industry at all, I I don't know. My interests are also like animation and comic books and like a bunch of nerd stuff. So maybe I would go into something, you know, something like that. Like I loved playing video games growing up, and I was a huge Nintendo fan. And I still collect comic books. I have like a shelf of comic books to my left here. So I don't know, something, I guess maybe visually artistic.
So it would have to be something creative, right? For sure.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I'm good with paperwork too. I could sit behind a desk, but I don't want to do that.
So you have a huge comic book collection. Like, what's your like favorite, like go-to like superheroes comics?
Okay. Well, my favorite superhero growing up was Wolverine. I had a lot of the early Wolverine. I had Wolverine #1. So yeah, Wolverine was a big superhero that I was into. But right now, I've only been keeping up with the Goon, which isn't like a superhero comic book. It's like a 1920s mobster voodoo zombie mishmash. It's a lot of fun, but that's the comic that I've been reading most of. Oh, and Batman. I was really huge into Batman when I lived in New York. Do you know the comic book store in Union Square?
Union
I forget what it's called. Like Planet.
Was it
Maybe it's
Midtown
Planet
Comics
Comics.
or something?
I've been to Midtown Comics many times too, but there was another one in Union Square that I used to go to all the time because it was really right next to the Lee Strasberg Institute. So I would be there often. I would be reading Batman, Batman Detective Comics, Batman and Robin, Night, Nightwing, Batwoman. Like, that's 5 series just within the Batman storyline. That's nuts.
So many.
Yeah.
Do you also collect those pop figures? Is that what they're
Oh
called?
yeah.
Yeah.
Pop vinyls. Let's see.
Yeah.
We got
Those figurines,
this
right?
is the one within closest reach.
Okay, I'm
The
not
Ray.
good with
I'm
Star
not good with
Wars, right?
these.
That's Ray, I think. Is that her name?
Yeah,
No?
Ray from Star Wars.
Oh
Come
no,
on, you got to know Star Wars.
I'm not very
Okay,
good with these. I can do
this is one of
Avengers.
my. What about this one? Can you get this one?
Oh no, is it Ghost Rider? Is that one? No.
I don't
No,
think.
this isn't. This
No,
isn't
I'm
Marvel.
asking
This
you.
is comic book, but it's not Marvel. It's zombie.
No clue.
Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon.
They have pop figures for The Walking
I
Dead.
didn't-
Yeah, they
Is
have
it a
pop-
comic,
they
The
have pop
Walking
lines
Dead?
for
I
everything.
think so. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, it started out as a comic. Yeah,
Oh wow, I didn't
it's
know.
great. I have the whole. I think I have like a whole stack of Walking Dead.
Oh wow.
But it's a great series too.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, so I have a really tough question for you right now. If you were to choose like one character from any comic that you've read or that you know of to play in like a film, which character would that be?
That is a really good question because when I was growing up, I used to read Preacher a lot, and for a long time, I was like, this guy looks like me. I mean, in the comic book, he's white, but he's dark haired. You know, he was a really badass character. And then they adapted it into a series like 2 years ago. So whatever, that already happened. But for a long time, when I was reading that comic book growing up, I was like, I thought it was a really cool comic book. It really pushed the boundaries as far as content, and it was really edgy. And yeah, that was like a character that I thought would be a really fun character to play. But as far as like straightforward action, you know, superheroes, maybe Wolverine. Like he's like, I mean, he's the badass, and so is Batman. I mean, Batman's great. So I mean, those are two really cool characters that would be awesome to play.
100%. I guess you'll have to give. What's the guy who played Ben Affleck? A Run for His Money, right? Wasn't he the last Batman?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
And now it's Robert
yeah. He was
Pattinson?
he's the Ben Affleck. I heard is actually coming back for the next Justice League movie, or maybe it's the Flash movie because they're doing like alternate universes, so they're going to bring back like, or there's a lot of speculation, but I hear that Ben Affleck is coming back, and that Michael Keaton is also coming back to play an older version of Batman in some form.
Oh, good.
So kind of like a Batman Beyond sort of scenario. If you're familiar with that other, was that a cartoon from the early 2000s? Maybe
I think so.
Batman Beyond.
I like
Yeah.
maybe remember
I
from like
was too
Cartoon
young to
Network
remember.
or something.
I was a baby then. Okay, so now we're at the segment of the show that we like to call past, present, and future. So Tyler, I need to ask you, how do you see yourself now, and how does it compare to 5 years ago?
Well, I guess how I compare to 5 years ago is that my production company is a lot more off the ground. I have a lot more consistent clients, and I can work more consistently with just the production company and acting. And I guess I've also spent the last 5 years was a good time for me to develop my hosting skills while working for Visit the USA, because that's another acting job that I have, is where I host and write videos to promote tourism in different states. And altogether, within the last 5 or so years, I've made, I would probably guess, close to 100 of these videos. And they're like different lengths. Some of them can be 30 seconds, some of them can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but they're all videos to promote international tourism in different states. So some of them might be for Pennsylvania, for Missouri, for Michigan, for Hawaii, for Florida. Yeah, I guess, I mean, the big difference is experience. I mean, 5 years is a big difference between where you are and where you are now, and as far as experience. And I feel like that's definitely one of the big takeaways from being in the industry for so long, is just accruing all that experience and all that networking.
Right. So with all this experience that you gained in the past 5 years, how do you think things will be for you in the next 5 years?
Well, Right now, I am working on building my writing portfolio, and I have 2 half-hour pilots that I'm developing. So, uh, part of my goals within the next 5 years would be to use my writing portfolio to get onto a show as a staff writer, or to even pitch my own shows and possibly get them produced or noticed in some other capacity to get brought on as a writer for some other project. Those are goals that can, level me up to maybe a staff writer or showrunner level to have more control in storytelling in Hollywood. And I feel like that's a big thing with finding accurate and authentic diversity in storytelling, is not just to have representation on screen. You need representation behind the camera to be making sure that those are authentic stories being told. And that's why we need more diverse showrunners and writers and executives to really not just be advocates for these causes, but to really truly understand.
For sure. When you started out in the industry, was there anyone like that who was, say, like of Asian or mixed descent like you, that helped you that sort of helped you behind the scenes or enter your way into the entertainment industry?
I think the Asian American film community is super supportive. Um, a lot of people that I have met through film festivals and through organizations like CAPE, which is the Coalition of Asian Pacifics in Entertainment, or the Asian American Film Lab, or Asians on Film. These are all organizations that are meant to connect Asian Americans in the entertainment industry. And it is a small industry. I mean, the industry is huge. We all know that. But like, as far as Asian Americans in the industry, you start to, if you've been around long enough, you start to meet the same people. And I feel that the community has been super supportive. So I don't necessarily, I can't necessarily pinpoint one person, but I would say that the entire Asian American film community and all the organizations meant to advocate for representation are instrumental in the Asian American kind of uh, visibility in entertainment.
What advice would you have for, Asian Americans or anyone of Asian descent who are trying to make it into the entertainment industry, but of course they're facing so many trials and tribulations on their way to reach their dreams?
That's a good question. Yeah, my story is that when I faced those hurdles, I would make my own opportunities and tell my own story, even on a small scale. When I started making films, I would make them with a flip phone and no audio, and or a flip camera. Like they don't even sell these anymore, but it was just like, because you have cameras on your phone now. But it was like a $60 little mini camera, and I started making films that way, and I started telling my own stories that way. And I feel that for people who feel like they aren't being accurately represented or not going for the auditions that they feel they should be going to, you need to create those opportunities for yourself and build a reel on material that you think is right and characters that you think you should play. And then people will start seeing you in that way. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big thing, is to take control of your career and to be an advocate for yourself. And submitting to film competitions is a great way to, and taking part in the filmmaking opportunities in the Asian American community is great too. I was the coordinator for the 2020 72-hour film shootout at the Asian American Film Lab. And I definitely recommend for Asian American creatives, whether you're an actor or a writer or a director, to take part in it, because we link the winners up with mentors at different in different industry positions. Last year, two of them were NBC executives, talent executives, and an ABC casting executive as well. And so they're great opportunities for people who are just starting out to meet high level executives, and these opportunities exist for diverse actors, but you just have to look for them.
See. So, what principles would you say you live your life by?
I guess off the top of my head, maybe perseverance. I mean, that's a good one. I guess I mean, I feel like that's accurate because I've been in the industry for so long, and I see people come and go, and it's who knows, what lies in the future, but it's all exponential growth. So the longer you stay, it's like a stock that you put money into. The longer you leave that money in, it's going to grow exponentially over time. You just have to let it grow over time, and you have to hustle, but you also can't rush certain things that can't be rushed.
100%. Timing is everything in life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, keeping in mind your principles in life, keeping in mind your huge comic book collection and pop collection, what are you grateful for?
I am super grateful for my wife and my family, and all the personal stuff that keeps me going aside from career aspirations. I'm lucky enough to have scheduled my wedding right before the pandemic. So, so I got married thank you. I got married a couple months before everything shut down. So, I'm very grateful that I was able to have that opportunity before, our year and a half, possibly 2 years of isolation. Who knows how long this is going to go on for? I mean, hopefully it's coming to an end soon, but
fingers crossed.
It's hard in America right now. It's tough.
It really is. I mean, that's so crazy to think that you had your marriage right before it. So you had, I'm assuming you had a wonderful ceremony, you had guests, and there's a lot of dancing and no social distancing, right?
No, it would have been August 2019, and then the pandemic was obviously February, March. So it was like a couple months before, but yeah, it's a completely different mentality. Like my two older sisters, they were going to get married as well. They had their wedding scheduled during the pandemic, but obviously that happened, so they had to push it back. And hopefully my one sister, who's now getting married in May in Canada, hopefully that'll still be fine, because crossing borders is really difficult right now, and the rules and laws are changing almost on a daily basis. So it's we'll see how it goes. We'll see how all that goes. But I mean, I'm thankful for my family and for their health.
How would you say COVID has changed the way that you pursue opportunities in the industry?
It has made networking a lot more digital. I'm obviously having a lot more Zoom meetings, and I just joined this new app called Clubhouse, which is an audio networking app. So people are perseverant. People are going to find ways to keep moving ahead, even when it feels that we're at a standstill. So yeah, the pandemic has just shift everything online, which is which I had actually early experience doing, because when I joined on as the shootout coordinator for the 72-hour shootout, we were planning on doing that all how we do it usually, in person. It's a filmmaking competition. Everything happens in person. The screenings are in person, the film festivals in person, the award ceremonies in person. But the pandemic happened. So we had to shift everything to a virtual film festival. We had to coordinate it with the film festival over that, and we also had to encourage filmmakers to make their own films in like a DIY fashion, in a quarantine fashion, in a write it, act it, direct it yourself sort of way. Cast your dog or your cat, cast your little sister, like make a movie, but make it responsibly. And I think that pressure cooker created this wonderful through line of all these films. They're all really connected in a similar way that I had never seen before in the 72-hour shootout. They were just like so kismet. So I'm so happy that I was able to bring that to the 72-hour shootout.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible. It's not the same thing, but I remember in college I did a 24-hour play or something like that, and it's just that immense pressure to get everything done in that small frame of time to be able to make such amazing films in 72 hours during these tough times. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I love that competition. I participated in it for like 10 years, and then the opportunity presented itself to coordinate the competition. So I jumped on it because the competition has created opportunities for me as a storyteller and actor, and I wanted to help kind of bring those opportunities to people who are just starting out, or people who have been around for a while who are looking to get that big break. I've gained a lot from the shootout, so I wanted to help others as well.
That's awesome. So now we've come to the question that where we get our show title from. If you were to leave something in a time capsule for people to dig up 100 years later, what would you put in there and why?
I saw this question and I thought about it, and I mean, like, as lame as it would sound, I feel like a cell phone is so like so indicative of the time that we live in. I feel like at some point, cell phones are just going to be like built into our brain or built into like, our bodies, and we're going to be like half cyborgs. And the idea of carrying around this thing is just going to be archaic to us. So, I mean, it's not super personal. It's like a little, it's a little generic, but it is also like indicative of the time that we live in. And I don't know if you know this, but the show Black Mirror is called Black Mirror because, I mean, it reflects, society, but it's also, we stare into black mirrors every day. Like every screen that we look at is a black mirror. So I think it's just like, it's telling of our psychology at the moment.
100%. And I really feel like people are so dependent on their phones. People are on that thing for like hours a day, especially scrolling through TikTok. The new generation is just like that for 2 hours straight. And I feel like we're so hooked to our cell phones. It's practically become a part of our identity.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm guilty of it. I'll do that. I'll scroll through TikTok for a while. Actually, since I just joined Clubhouse just last week, so I haven't been on it very long. But like in my first 2 days, my cell phone usage warned me and said, your screen time is up 130%.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay, maybe I need to pull it back a bit.
That's a lot. I mean, I get my notifications for like 6% increase, and I thought that was a lot, but 130. You beat the record.
Yeah. No good. It's not healthy.
So is there anything else you'd like to add, something to tell our viewers, some final advice for any filmmaker or actor out there watching this?
I guess nothing necessarily from me, but something that for some reason this just popped in my head because I'm a huge fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show. But one of the slogans from that movie is "Don't dream it, be it." And that's a lot of what we were talking about today, about creating your own opportunities. So maybe in a concise way to say it is "Don't dream it, be it."
I like that.
Absolutely. Is there anywhere where people can follow you on social media or any upcoming projects that you'd want to plug?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me at Tyler Hampong on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. I'm also you can go to my website, tylerhampong.com, and my production company is killthepigproductions.com. You can see our films there. We have links to our Amazon channel, to a bunch of my 72-hour shootout films, and all the work that we do with our actor clients.
Awesome. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for being a part of our time capsule. Thank you to our viewers for watching, and please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tune in again next week to meet another amazing addition to our time capsule.